What's up, everyone? It's Ruby here, bringing you guys another movie review. This time we are reviewing The Flash, the movie that has been like 4 or 5 years in the making, has finally dropped today, and I went to go see it in theaters. And this is what I think. Number one, is the wait worth it? Absolutely. Okay. I remember when this was first just a rumored project that it kind of like, I think it broke 2017. I'm pretty sure that's when it was like really rumored that it was gonna be happening. And then like it didn't happen, and then and then it was supposed to drop during 2020. Of course, it didn't. And so now in 2023, we have finally seen the movie that is The Flash, or a Flashpoint movie. And there's a lot to talk about. There's definitely a lot to talk about. Like, how is this going to affect the movies going forward? How is it going to reset everything? You know, what's going to be happening? Who's going to get replaced? Who's not? And we'll talk about it, okay? We'll talk about it all. I figured we might as well talk about it, you know, like now. Because, you know, this is a great video to talk about it with. But we're talking about the movie first. So the movie itself, I went to see. And the non-spoiler review is that it's really good. I think, for me, the best part of the movie was like the second half. But I know a lot of people appreciated the first half as well. And I appreciated it too. It's like, I liked every part of the movie. I thought it was a very good balance between comedy, action, and drama. And I thought it wrapped up really well. And, you know, it didn't take itself too seriously. I mean, I don't think it was supposed to either. There were definitely moments that are a little bit teary-eyed, a little bit emotional, especially if you are an old school comic book fan, if you grew up with Michael Keaton. I actually did notice the audience was a lot older. There was a lot of old people. There was a lot of like 60 to like 80-year-old people in the audience, and I'm pretty sure it's because of Michael Keaton. So that's kind of interesting, because usually the demographic for movies, for these types of movies, actually falls younger. Usually it's like, you know, kids, and it's like, you know, 20-year-olds, you know, college students, people like me, who are big fans of like comic books and stuff like that. But this time the audience, I noticed, I think was a little bit more older people, which is really interesting. I definitely think it was the targeted demographic for this. You know, a lot of people really wanted to see Keaton on the big screen, and man, did they deliver. I think everyone could leave the movie theater happy. I think everyone got a little bit of something. And, you know, the theater reaction was great. Opening day reaction, that was really great. It was equal to Across the Spider-Verse. You know, there were a lot of great moments that people like, laughed or cheered and even like cried about, you know? So there were like those moments in the movie, and I think it was really great. Yeah, you know, that's kind of all I can say, is that what I would rate it, I think I would give it like an 8.8 out of 10. Like, it's like one of the best comic book movies I've seen in a long time, especially in theaters. This is like the happiest I have ever been walking out of a theater as a DC fan. And that has been a while. I don't really count the Batman or the Joker, because they're kind of like different. Like, we already kind of established that, yeah, the Batman sells and the Batman films are great. Like, we've kind of already established that, so I don't really count that. But I'm talking about like leaving Justice League, leaving Green Lantern. That kind of thing is like, this is one where it's not really a Batman film. I know people like to joke that it is, but it's not a Batman film. It's a Flash film, and so, you know, there is reason to believe that it's not gonna be great, you know, because, you know, DC doesn't do other heroes great. They haven't really done that well. I mean, yeah, Wonder Woman was good. I think it aged a little bit not so great, especially for us, like, actual Wonder Woman fans, especially with Wonder Woman 1984, kind of just left it with a sour note. But, as I will say, and thinking of that, you know, Wonder Woman, the last Wonder Woman was 2017, Aquaman was probably 2018, I think. It's been a while. It's been over 4 years. So, it's like, this has really been a long time coming. For a lot of us. Yeah. Yeah, it's been it's kind of weird to think that it's been like over 4 years since we had like a solid, good comic book movie. But not only comic book movie, but also comic book accurate, sort of. Not really. I will say, there's kind of like a lot to get. Like, it's not. I don't know if I should say comic book accurate. It has nothing to do with Flashpoint, but it's a good. It's like a good interpretation of what Flashpoint is, and I think it suits this world specifically. It suits the DCEU, and I think that's the important note. Is that the funny thing is, this felt more like a Justice League movie than the actual Justice League movie released back in, you know, back when it was released. In like, was it 2016? Is that a 2016 movie? My gosh. It's been a while. It's been a while. Oh my gosh. It's been too long. I digress. Those are the non-spoilers. So, yeah, I give it an 8.8 out of 10. Maybe that'll go higher, maybe that'll go lower. I think that was a genuinely good movie. It was definitely, I think, you know, for the people who enjoyed, like, Black Adam and Shazam, you know, just, they were good movies, right? But this felt good because it's, like, a main DC character. That's the thing, right? I love Shazam. I love Black Adam. I think they were good movies. Not great characters to do it with, but also wasted potential, you know? It's like, I liked a lot of what they were putting down, but, you know, you can only do so much with Shazam, especially with the route they were going in. And it also wasn't really comic book accurate. I mean, if we're gonna be honest, it really wasn't. Especially Black Adam. So, you know, there was that aspect. I mean, because especially the best part of the Black Adam movie is the JSA anyways. So it's, so it's like, you know, it's been a while since the main character of the movie was the actual good part of the movie. You know? You know what I mean? It's like, like it's been a while. It definitely, you know, I think I could compare this experience to seeing the Suicide Squad, like, what was it, 2021? 2022? I don't know when it came out. The Suicide Squad, you know? It felt like that, because it felt good. Like, there were, like, good vibes. It's very comic booky, and I could be proud to be a DC fan instead of feeling beat around. I don't know. You know, the old school DC fans, like the ones who've been around a while. You guys know the feelings that we got, like leaving all those bad movies. You know, we can be honest with each other, and you can also argue that they're not necessarily bad movies. It's just that they're not the greatest, and they could have been better. It's kind of that kind of thing. But The Flash is not that. I mean, The Flash delivers on a lot. It's kind of interesting the route that they went. I don't know about the route that they went. You know, there's like a lot of things to talk about, right? There's a lot of things to talk about. So this is a spoiler review, okay? This is spoilers. So stop watching. You go watch the movie. Watch it on IMAX. Watch it. I don't care where you watch it. I think it'll be better in IMAX, but you can watch it like in any setting probably. I know a lot of people, you know, they like to pick their IMAX tickets, you know, specifically. I think IMAX is a good choice for this. I think because but you can get away with seeing it in the standard. I think it'll just look best. It'll look better in IMAX if you see it in IMAX, or you can wait for streaming. I don't care. But spoiler alert. Hello, spoiler alert. Okay, spoilers. Okay. Oh gosh, where to start? Oh my gosh. Okay, so the second half of the movie is really where it picks up. Okay. Now let's break this down. Okay, as a comic book adaptation, it's not even close to being accurate to the comic book that it's based on. However, I don't think that's a problem. Because the reason why I don't think that's a problem is because this movie is specifically catered for a very specific reason. Okay? This movie wraps up the DCEU in all of its flaws and, you know, its decent qualities. And it gives us a way to say goodbye to all of the characters that we have known for the past 4 years. And while we might have wanted an actual Flashpoint movie, I think for what this is, it actually works. Because number one, it's not actually called Flashpoint. And number two, it kind of takes the route that the rest of the DCU has been going in. And where it's like, it has the structure, but it doesn't have the specific comic in mind, right? I think the DCU is going to be different because the DCU is going to reference a lot more comics. Going to reference, you know, specific comics, specific stories, you know, Women of Tomorrow, stuff like that. The Authority, you know, it's going to reference those specific comics. But for this, in its own universe, it's actually fine. I will say, it's not really, because there's no Flash villains, really. You can argue, yes, there's Savitar, but it's not really that. You know, it's not really supposed to be that. You could actually argue that there isn't even a villain in this movie, because there doesn't actually need to be a villain, because the villain is kind of the Flash himself, a little bit. Because he is, you know, grieving, he's going on a hero's journey, but he's doing man versus self. Because, you know, there's different, if you guys are a fan of literature, there's different types of conflict. There's man versus man, which is like, you know, people battling each other. There's man versus self, where it's like a self-reflection of, you know, one's character. Is like man versus environment, where it's like the man, like survival kind of, those survival books are very much like man versus environment. Sometimes a little bit man versus self. So you guys know that, right? So this story is very much a man versus self movie, which is bold for a comic book movie, because yes, it does have conflict. It does have conflict. But its main goal is not to have a lot of action, which might seem backwards for a comic book movie, but for what it's trying to do, I think it's really good. I will say I don't know who did the CGI for The Flash. It was not as good as it should have been. I feel like in some cases the CW had better CGI than the movie budget did. But, you know, I think the problem is that still, to this day, no one has taught Ezra Miller how to run. That's my main problem, because when you're doing zoom ups on his legs and stuff, and he's doing these like weird running motions, it doesn't make any sense. Because if you play sports at all, you know that you know the way you're supposed to run. Like, I am a softball player. I grew up playing softball. We were taught how to run, and that ain't it. And the thing is, we're taught to run in that specific manner because it makes us faster. It's like Usain Bolt would never run like Barry is running in this movie. And that's been my problem with Ezra Miller from the get-go, is that he doesn't know how to run, and it's very obvious, and no one has corrected him at all in any one of his movies that he's been in. Well, I guess he's only been in really 2. But it's like no one has said, hey, yo, Barry, yo, The Flash, your running is terrible. But, you know, I would say it's a very loose interpretation of the Flash origin. You know, there's a lot of changes that kind of had to make in order to make this story work in its own capacity. Because it is kind of a solo movie, if you really think about it. It's not really a cinematic movie. Like, it's not really like a cinematic universe movie where it's like all this... yes, it is, but no, it's not. I think the main drive of this movie were really the cameos, the guest stars, and the overall humor is good. The Batman scenes are great, which is great because he's going to be doing... the director is going to be doing Brave and the Bold, apparently. Unless that changes anytime soon. But apparently he's going to be doing Batman. Which, if you look at the actual Batman scenes, take out the Flash completely. If you look at the Batman scenes, I think there is hope. First of all, that Batcave, oh my gosh, it was so good. Oh my gosh. I think my main love for this movie was Michael Keaton. I mean, hearing the Danny Elfman theme, it made me kind of think, because I've kind of talked about the DC music and what I want to see in the DCU, just like on Twitter, on my DC Overlord account. And it's like, oh, you know what? Never mind. Wait.